Have you ever looked into mushrooms?
What, like psychedelics?
Not necessarily, but just mushrooms in general. So I recently watched a documentary called Fantastic Fungi. Have you heard of it?
I can't say I have.
Okay, it's on Netflix. You should watch it, but
Okay.
it's very, very fascinating. So this guy, Paul Stamets, he is he is a mushroom expert, basically. But this he has a very interesting background. So this guy who, if I can put this into the universe, should come on my podcast sometime. However long that takes, Paul Stamets should be on my podcast. But he doesn't have a professional background. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's a like kind of an amateur, like a hobbyist gone crazy. Like he knows he's like the leading researcher in a field, and he doesn't have a degree in it.
Fantastic.
Right. So like
Yeah.
he's the most respectable opinion basically in the world of fungi. And he's created the most patents and the most research articles than like pretty much anyone else. And he doesn't have like a legitimate like doctorate or anything. And so this guy, he grew up and he had a really bad stutter, right? All through his whole life. And he like up until he was like 15, 16, he starts reading about higher consciousness and like alternative states. And like this is in the 70s, I believe. So it's like the back end of the hippie movement. And so he has this really bad stutter where he practices everything possible, but he can't get a sentence out without,
Yeah.
stumbling on his own words. His entire life, he's never said one clean sentence, no matter what he tries. And so one day he decides to go out and he'll go buy some psychedelic mushrooms, some psilocybin mushrooms, and just gonna whatever. So he gets like a bag that's about like this big, which is, and he's like, yeah, that seems about right. So he eats all of them, which is
It's a
like
lot.
10 times the dosage of like what you would normally want. And he's like, well, I gotta go somewhere pretty. So he goes and he's like, oh, I'll go find a nice tree. And he goes to the tallest tree on this beautiful hill. And then all of a sudden he notices there's like a storm in the distance. So he climbs up to the top of the tree and he's like looking at the storms. And now the mushrooms are starting to hit. And he's like seeing the waves in the air turn to liquid, and it just like interacting with him and seeing all the roots of everything just like sprawling in every direction, and everything's turning into these mosaics of color. The storm's coming closer and closer, and he's like, wow, I am at the tallest point in the town, on the top of the tallest hill, in the top of the tallest tree, and a lightning storm is coming. I'm done fucked basically. And so he like grabs onto this tree because he doesn't want to lose his experience. Grabs on this tree, he feels safe with the tree, and he's just holding on. And he's like in this moment of like fear is colliding with like just like beauty in this just like unthinkable way. And then he starts thinking, he's like, I don't want to stutter anymore. He's like, this could be a moment. This, I don't know what it is, but this feels powerful. It's like, I don't want to stutter. So you're repeating it tens, hundreds, thousands of times. I don't want to stutter. I don't want to stutter. I don't want to stutter. Eventually, storm passes through. He's sopping wet. He gets down for the tree, goes home, gets home, goes straight to bed. It's late. No one's awake. Next morning, he wakes up. All of his family had already left for school or work. So he walks to school, and he had a crush on this girl, this beautiful woman who's like 15, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And so he didn't know, but she had a crush on him also. So she goes like, hi Paul, how's it going? And he's like, for the first time in his life, he says, I'm doing great, how are you? Without a single stutter. And the man has virtually not had a stuttering problem since, from this one experience. And he said that changed his life. And since then, he's just absolutely like dedicated his entire existence to doing this. And now he has supplement programs and stuff because he doesn't like the business side of it. He likes the purity of it, but he realizes that he might as well make some money and like support himself. But absolutely wild. You should watch it. I think it has
Yeah.
some kind of I mean, I haven't personally done it, but I think it has a very, very, very interesting medical repercussions or medical like benefits that I I don't think humans are nearly capable of creating, because fungi have been around for 2.4 billion years. That was the earliest fossilized fungi.
Wow.
The animal kingdom diverged from fungi. So they are more evolved than we are.
Yeah.
We diverged from them 600 million years ago. So they had already been around for 1.5 billion years. Yeah, a billion and a half years by the time we even diverged from them. So theoretically, they're better at this living thing than even we are, because we've been around. What, humans have been around for how long, Will? Like 300,000 years or something?
I'm not sure. That sounds right. Yeah.
Have you heard of the stoned ape theory, Will?
The stoned ape theory?
Yes.
I've not. I'm trying to think what that could be.
Okay, so right around that time when people are like basically pre-humanoids were like transitioning into humans, right? So like we're going from that like hairy thing on 4 legs to us.
Yeah.
Right in that time frame, humans had an unprecedented, ridiculous amount of brain growth in that short amount of time. I think in 3 million years, our brain size increased threefold, which is unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So at that time, we were in the African savannah, and in the African savannah, there is, the animals that shit there, they leave their shit, and then what grows from that is a psychedelic mushroom. And so there's theorized that because of this, humans would start eating the psychedelic mushrooms and increase brain activity, and we'd have these visceral experiences where like we're seeing all these crazy shapes and colors, and then we would start wanting to tell other people about it. And so we would want to express ourselves and develop language, and then our brains start developing to try to get language so that we can understand what the other people are saying, and we're evolving along with the help of all these crazy ideas and images and thoughts. And then our brains just go and then all of a sudden it's you and me talking about how monkeys ate mushrooms out of shit.
That I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
You should look it up. Stoned ape theory.
I always thought that they attributed brain growth to like being able to cook meat with fire.
Yes. I think that, it's definitely part of it. You can't say it's only because they ate psychedelic mushrooms, but that definitely could be, all of a sudden they, like, what if the mushrooms made them have the idea to start fire or whatever the hell it was? Because like you see all these pretty lights and colors, you're like, I wanted that in my actual life.